guys, and welcome back to Beauty Fortified. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sue, and today I'm talking about how to apply Estee Lauder foundation. I'm going to give you 2 tips that I use to apply the foundation, and I'm going to give you a couple of other tips as well of things that you can mix with it. Now, this video was inspired by a comment that I saw on a Facebook group that is completely beauty unrelated. So these are women that are from all walks of life, but the group is completely beauty unrelated. And somebody asked the question on the group, what is the best foundation to use for mature skin? And I was absolutely amazed when I saw all the comments coming back. And 7 out of 10 women suggested Estee Lauder Double Wear. So that got me thinking, and I know that it is a really good foundation. It's one that I reach for often, but it also made me think, you know, these women have all got different skin types. So this is obviously a foundation that works for everyone. But I know that people can be a little bit suspect or suspicious of the foundation because it is so full coverage. A lot of people think that it is really cakey. But with the right application methods, you can make it work for you. And it is all down to the application. I think with most long wear foundations, you are going to get a little bit of cakiness, a little bit of dryness if you don't do it correctly. So a little bit about my skin. I'm 50 years old. I've got fine lines, wrinkles, and enlarged pores. I do have a lot of texture. But this is a foundation that I have managed to adapt to get it to work for me. So if you want to see my tips and tricks, keep on watching. I've prepped my skin and I've applied my SPF. One of the secrets to applying this foundation is to make sure that your skin is well moisturized. So the first method I'm going to show you is using a sponge, and I'm going to use it on this side of my face. So I'm taking a damp sponge or beauty blender. Make sure that you've squeezed all the excess water out of it. And I'm going to take just a drop of the foundation. I'm in the color Ivory Beige. So I'm just taking a drop onto my fingers, and you want to start building this up in thin layers. So I'm taking about that much on my finger, and I'm just going to start dotting it all over my skin. And it's quite a highly pigmented foundation as well, so a little goes a long way. And honestly, the real secret to this foundation is in the application, and it's in starting with thin layers because it is buildable. So once I've got the foundation on, I'm just going to pat it into my skin with the sponge. And I really find that this gives a really flawless finish as opposed to using your fingers. So this is definitely the way to go because it just distributes the foundation evenly. There's no streaking. And by patting it in, it's also going to help you to minimize the look of your pores. I can see that I still need a little bit more coverage. It's giving me a very light coverage. So I'm going to apply a little bit more in the areas where I want to build up the coverage. But this is going to stop it from looking cakey. So I'm going to apply a little bit to my T-zone, to my cheek where I've got enlarged pores. And again, just applying the smallest amount and building it up slowly. I'm also going to put a little bit on my forehead where I've got some enlarged pores. And again, just taking the sponge, I'm just going to gently pat this in. So with this foundation, you need to take a bit of time with application to get the best finish, to get the flawless, smoothest finish that you can. It's not a foundation that you can necessarily apply in a hurry on the go. So that is the side using the sponge. Now on this side of my face, I'm going to be using a brush, but I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to spritz it with water. So I've just got a Gewone foundation brush. I'm going to take a little bit of water and I'm just going to dampen the foundation brush. And this will help to shear out the foundation. So I'm going to take another pea-sized amount and I'm just going to pack that all over the skin. And this is probably a slightly quicker method, but it's also really good in ensuring that you can build up the layers and that you can get a really flawless coverage. So taking my damp foundation brush, and I'm just going to gently buff this into the skin. So just gently buffing it into the skin. The secret is to apply the thinnest layer that you possibly can at first, and then to go in if you need to, and to build it up. And then you need to leave the foundation for a couple of minutes just to set, and it will give you a soft kind of satin matte finish. So it's definitely not a dry cakey finish, but by buffing it into the skin, or by patting it into the skin with a sponge, it really does help to give a very flawless, smooth finish. So the other thing I wanted to mention is if you have really dry skin, because we know that this foundation works for all skin types, I would recommend mixing your foundation with a drop of either a moisturizer or something like squalane, which is a viscous kind of liquid. So it's not quite an oil. You just take the tiniest drop just to dilute the foundation slightly. The other thing you could use is a tiny drop of facial oil, and that's just going to give you some more hydration, and it's just going to help you to shear out the foundation if you've got really dry skin. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that if you're still afraid of the foundation, you might want to mix it in with one of your existing foundations. So one of the examples I've got here is the MAC Studio Radiance, and this is a very, very radiant foundation on me. It's a very liquidy foundation, but if I mix it in with my Estee Lauder, I get a beautiful dewy finish, and I know that it is going to stay all day because the Estee Lauder is going to assist whatever you mix with it to blend into your skin, and it's going to give you the longevity that you want from the long wear foundation. So guys, those are my tips and tricks. Let me know if you've got any hacks for applying this foundation. I'd love to hear from you. Leave your comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Ciao, ciao.